Good evening and welcome to the Carstensen team's live broadcast tonight. You're seeing Michelle Carstensen, my sister, on screen, and of course I'm Chuck Carstensen. So there is a delay on the feed there, Michelle, as you're watching the feed coming through. So
I know, I'm just trying to figure this out.
yeah, this is like we are the production team. There's not somebody in the back room working this, and I was on a podcast with my brother that was a live stream cast on Thursday, and he's been using this technology. So I got the tutorial, and he brought me in earlier and gave me a little tutorial, and I didn't really do anything with Michelle other than test the microphone so everybody can hear us. So glad it looks like a few eyeballs are watching. And tonight on our live broadcast, we're going to be talking about what's happening in real estate currently with the COVID-19 situation, some things we're seeing as far as showing stretch trends. We'll share the screen and look through some numbers, at least with RE/MAX Results Office. Some of the things that are going well, some of the things that maybe aren't going the way maybe buyers would think. But in general, talk about the market and also answer your questions. So this is a live Q&A. We already got one comment from looks like my son. It said, "Hi, Dad." So thanks. Hey, buddy. I'm guessing that's Lucas that typed in "Hi, Dad." So we got one comment there. So you can comment on this, and then I can see your questions through the Facebook feed. Anytime that you have a question about real estate tonight, please ask them. We'll answer them. When we marketed this broadcast, we said we'd do a gift card giveaway. More interactions, more we give away. And we don't know how it's going. This is our first one that we've done. So welcome to the broadcast and share it. That'd be one way to enter in for a drawing. So share it, comment, and we're going to try to have some fun. And Michelle, I'll let you talk a little bit since I've been rambling for the first minute.
Chuck, I think anyone that knows you knows that you ramble a lot. So
that's fine. And then I got my son posting comments here, so that's cool. So I better reply to him quickly.
You should reply to him. I see a bunch of people join, so that's good. It must be on my Facebook page.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a reminder in here.
So yeah, obviously, if you're watching, you probably know who I am. But actually, if you're on the team page, you might not know who I am. So I'm Michelle, and that's Chuck, obviously, because that's our names. Brother, sister, real estate team. I thought we'd try something different, give you some updates on the market. I know we get calls and texts and Facebook messages asking us how the market is. And currently it's one of those things where it could change daily. Seems like, I think it's been about 34 days that we've been watching it pretty closely. And I think it finally hit the bottom and is starting to rise. Not the bottom on what I'd say on like market prices, the bottom on showings. So when I talk about the bottom, I'm talking about last year this time, how many showings we have compared to what we have currently. So if we go into a normal spring market, actually we're almost in May. It doesn't even seem like that. Sometimes I think like April didn't even exist and we were kind of just sitting in this world of going outside, walking the dog, exercising, making our contacts, talking to people, watching TV, getting up, exercising and doing it again. And I know a lot of you are like, I don't even know if it's like Monday, Tuesday, if it's still March. I think there's some days I felt like that as well. So when I'm talking about showings, normal spring market is the hottest time of the year for real estate. So as a real estate agent in April, normally I'm not home to eat supper with my kids. I'm out showing houses every night, on every weekend. Barely I could get up Sunday mornings to go to church because I had to go show houses. Now, a lot different, obviously, with all the virus stuff that's going on. So when I talk about showings, when it was last year compared to this year, they were way down. That doesn't mean the prices went down. That just means the showings went down. As we work in areas all over the state, as some of you know, Chuck lives up in the Cambridge area. Stacy's in the Elk River area. Most of you know I'm in the Minnetonka area. And so we see different showings on different parts of the state where most teams can't see that. Obviously RE/MAX Results is tracking where the showings are and where they're not. But overall, when we're looking at showings, we kind of base it off of, because we as a team, we work together, we share leads, we don't try to cross over where we live. We can see who's showing houses, who's not showing houses, and base our analysis on what the market's doing in what areas around that. So based on showings, the showings are a lot stronger outside the metro area for our team. That doesn't mean that's all around, but because we do a lot of business, we can see where the showings more currently are right now. And then also, there's starting to be more listings where in the last 3 weeks, there is very few listings going on. Doesn't mean there isn't listings going on, because obviously there is. People are selling their house, which is not the norm for April, springtime. So anyone that has any questions, I see the cool little run thing that says ask your questions. That's pretty cool. Chuck must have figured that out. So what do you think about all that, Chuck?
This is easy technology to use, first of all. No, I agree. And we will show some stats. I know, right now we're not up against Twins baseball or Wild hockey or the Timberwolves playoff run. Okay, we're not up against any sports. We're probably up against Netflix and binge watching of certain shows. I haven't done any binge watching. Michelle, have you done binge watching of any shows?
Yeah, MasterChef. Me and AJ watched 13 shows in a row on Sunday. So
I think I've watched
for me. So
I think so far during COVID, I've watched 2 Disney movies on Disney Plus. I upgraded one of our. I broke my phone right away in this, and I got a new phone, and they talked me into a new iPad, but they said we got Disney Plus with it. So I've watched 2 movies on Disney Plus, and this has been about six weeks. I don't watch a lot of TV. With the distance learning, and then following up with everybody, making calls, checking in with people,
hi,
and
Carrie.
the work.
I'm just figuring this out. So I'm saying hi, people that said hi to me. So.
Oh, cool. Are people saying hi to you? What screen are you looking at? I better look at this one. Maybe somebody's saying hi to me. Is anybody saying hi to me? That's what I want to know.
I'm looking at my phone.
Okay, well that's good. No, I want to see if somebody's saying. I want to see if somebody's saying hi to me. No, probably not.
No, nobody says hi to you. No, wait, she said hi to Chuck and Michelle.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out. So yeah, we have the Disney thing too. And AJ watches every movie on earth on there. But I can't make too hard a time for him because he does work out every morning at 6 o'clock for 2 to 3 hours, plus goes to the field 2 hours a day. So he can watch TV. I'm watching it on my Facebook. I'm watching you watching. I'm watching me watching you watching on Facebook or something. That sounds confusing. So that's my secondary screen here. That's our production studio back home. So yeah, not a lot of binge watching. I haven't actually missed sports that much either. But as far as watching, just 'cause I don't know, I keep so crazy busy with everything going on. I think last night I worked pretty late and I got just back in time from a showing on this one. So it's pretty crazy. It's not. Like Michelle was saying, showings are picking back up. They were a little bit dip low with the stay-at-home situation, and they pick back up. We'll actually share that with you in a little bit. Again, we want to remind you, it's in the comments in the stream below. We're hoping somebody would ask questions. Obviously, we can ramble on forever, but I would like specific questions. So one question. And put your hearts in and stuff, because the more likes and hearts we get, the more it shows up on Google. So that helps us. Yeah. And I know you're all our friends, so of course you want to help us.
Yes. So, and typically people like to get, I have several $25 gift cards for Applebee's. I'd love to give some out tonight.
$75 or
$25? I would be happy to give out $75 worth of $25 gift cards. That would mean enough people commented. I guess my threshold for that tonight is, since we promised to give away, if you're the only one to comment, you're the winner. If we got maybe over 10 comments and 10 shares, we'd have 2 winners. If we hit maybe 25 plus, we'd have 3 winners. That would be if somebody's really on the edge of the seat, what are they giving away? I don't know about you. I like Applebee's, and it's good, and you get to pick up your food and go and go for it. That's what I have on hand. If there's we do this again, I'll come up with some other ideas. I thought, well, do we want to do a giveaway in our first broadcast? I thought radio stations do it all the time, and technically, if you're not necessarily calling in, but if you comment, that's an easy way to ask a question and get your question on air. Anybody out there listen to you could also, for the gift card giveaway, it's about real estate questions, but who listens to radio? I was thinking coming into this, my preparation for this was very in line with the common man, Dan Cole, as far as when he rolls into the studio for his program on KFAN radio.
I'm just making comments for us because when I watch other people do it, they probably have a third person making comments for us.
So are people commenting on your personal page? Is that what you're saying?
It must be. Yeah.
Tanya Meyer says hello. So that's good. Hello. Okay. So one thing I know a lot of people might not ask, and here's why, but they might not ask, but it is a big question now that I think people need to be aware of and know. What happens if you are laid off, furloughed, something's up with your income because of the economic situation? What do you do? So a lot of people, when this started, realtors especially, or people, non-realtors too, were worried there's going to be all these foreclosures because of COVID-19. People are losing their jobs. And let's say you're somebody who got laid off, lost your job. The reason why there would not be a lot of foreclosures in Minnesota, A, it hasn't affected us as much health-wise, and I think we're going to start to get back to work more. But B, and really the main reason is, I'm not collecting any unemployment. We do know people that are collecting unemployment, and some of the people I've talked to, their unemployment checks are about as much, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less than their paycheck. So there's no reason to not, pay your house payment if that's the case. The market is not going down on the house values currently. So there's no reason to, like in 2008, the market was starting to go down and everybody's like, I'm going to give my keys away and get out of the house. Now, just so you know, for those people who did that and gave back their house or couldn't pay because of stuff, the market's all the way back up. Literally this spring is the highest point the market's probably ever been in the history of Minnesota. So if you stuck it out and have been in your house 15, 20 years or whenever you bought it, it actually went up in value. You paid it down and maybe have it paid off. So it actually was a smart move in some situations to stay in your house, where a lot of people are just giving away their keys back then. That's not the case this time. No giving away the keys, because a lot of people are getting unemployment checks. Let's say you weren't, or let's say your income went down a lot where you were not getting unemployment checks. You can call your lender, and most lenders have a process that they did not have way back then because of COVID-19 and some of the regulations. They will look at a loan deferment, which is you don't have to pay your payment. It doesn't hurt your credit. A little bit of interest accrues, and then with that, it's just added on to the end of your loan. And you had your loan for 30 years anyway, or maybe 15. So what's a couple more payments at the end of your loan? Why would you give your house away? So that'd be another reason not to get foreclosed. Michelle, I know you know some of the reasons too. You can always tag team this if you want to, and don't want me to talk the whole time. There's forbearances, which is a little bit different than deferments. I actually did a couple videos where I said forbearance. Really, it should have been deference. So that's something to be aware of. I noticed a couple comments of now's a good time to refinance. Talk about the refinancing, Michelle.
Talk about the refinance, because I just refied. Well, it's probably like 6 weeks ago already, but so is now a good time to refinance. So when COVID really started popping up in the news and everything, and the market took a turn down as far as interest rates, was beginning of March. I think that was the lowest the interest rates were so far in 2020, right at the beginning of March. I know that when I sold houses last year at this time, they were about a percentage point higher than they are right now. So people are paying probably in the low 4.5. Some people are maybe paying 5. And now you can highly likely get them in the 3s. So that's just normal buying. So now when you refinance, some people can refinance on a 30-year loan. Some people actually want to refinance on a 15-year loan. Obviously, a 15-year loan is usually going to be a lower interest rate than a 30-year loan. So when I talk to the lenders that we work with a lot, the biggest thing is now a good time to finance. You might not want to refinance right now because the rates could continue to go down based on the fact that they're going to have to eventually go down a little bit just to the supply and demand, try to get the rates up again. In order to get the economy up, they're going to have to bring the rates down. How much lower are they going to go down? I mean, we might hit the 3s, maybe high 2s on a 30-year loan, which we're not far from there. I've seen 3.25 right now, 3.5. All those interest rates aren't that bad. So if you're currently working, you really want to talk to a lender and get in line to get ready to have all your like ducks in a row to refi. Doesn't mean you couldn't refi now. Maybe it would go up. Maybe it's not going down. Like I'm not a predictor of the market. I refied. I got a good rate, but I had no idea what was going to happen with all this COVID stuff. And I'm happy with the rate I got.
Is that something you want to share? What rate you got?
I got under 3 on a 15-year loan. And 10-year loan wouldn't have been any lower. So I was pretty glad that I got that. And I know I had a couple buyers this month that got 3.1, something like that. And they had locked about the same week that I did. And that was a 30-year loan. Again, I did a 15-year loan. So yeah, I mean, all in all, like, is it a good time to refinance? Yes, not an awful time. I mean, if you have your interest rate over 4, like 4.5%, you can get it down a percentage. Like normally that's a good thing to do. But for sure, get like your ducks in a row for when it starts to hit wherever it's going to hit in the next couple of months. It shouldn't really go above 4, I don't think, but it all depends on your credit too. So people always ask me like, it says online at this lender that I can get 3%. Well, it depends on your credit score. Like,
it depends on the loan program too. So let me interject. Like if you're a USDA or FHA loan, I think I read that it's 2.75 for your rate right now. And you might say, well, that sounds great. But remember, there's mortgage insurance that could escalate the payment, where the conventional loan, they are trickling down towards 3%. And they, in the middle, since Michelle refinanced, and then in between then till now, they were like bouncing all over because of what was going on. And now they're starting to settle in lower. To answer the question that Denise had on a 30-year loan in 1 year, we can't answer that. But I did read today that experts in that say that it should hit actually 2.9% is like the projection on interest rates, which, like I said just a moment ago, depending on the loan you're getting, it is right there now. So they're probably going to settle in with a few little upsies and downsies on the rate in the next year plus, where the rates are going to be low, which continues to help keep the home prices up. And the two main reasons the home prices are not dropping, meaning year over year, 2019 April to 2020 April, the prices are actually up a little bit in most areas, are because lack of inventory and low interest rates. So refinancing, it always also, you got to look at your loan and what makes sense. If you have a 4% interest rate and right now you can get in for 3%, Jacob, go for it. Talk to your lender and see where the numbers are at. And like Michelle said, and I actually had a conversation driving home tonight about an hour ago about somebody, hey, do I refinance? Do I cash out refinance? What do I do? And they asked about the rate. And I'm like, yeah, your rate would probably be lower. And what was your situation? Their situation was maybe cashing out, buying some land, maybe building a shed on their place. And so everybody's situation is a little bit different. So in general, if your rate's lower now, if you refinance and you're going to stay in your house a while, it probably makes sense to refinance. Over the life of the loan, you're going to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for that.
Yeah, I mean, on my refi, I had, let's see, you said it would take me 15 months to cover the refi. So what it cost me to refi, and obviously my payment I think my payment went like up $150, and it took 10 years off the loan because my interest rate was like 4.35 or 4.5, something like that. So in that, like, yeah, you take into consideration, work with the lender, I'll tell you, like, if you stay in your house for 2 years, like, it made sense to do the refi. If you're going to move like in 5 months, it doesn't really make sense. I've got a couple of questions on my Facebook. Renee was saying she knows a married couple and the wife is on furlough and he's still working. They're buying a home but only taking his income in consideration. She is actually making more money on the furlough. So isn't that funny? Like, they won't use her even though she's making more money not working.
So did you see a question from Tanya about
so she, hold on. So she, I'm trying to answer this one too. So she also said, is it also true to only refinance if you can move 2 points?
Only refinance if you can move 2 points?
Yeah. So when I was talking about how I had 4.5 and then went under 3, and then earlier how I was saying, like, if you can move at least a point, then you should do it. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that what they usually say? If it's less than a point, depends how long
It
you're
depends
planning
how
to stay there.
long you're going
That's
to live
what
there.
yeah.
If you're less than a
So good
point and you're like, I
question,
might
but
move,
yeah,
and I might move in 6
yeah.
months. No, then it probably doesn't make sense. You gotta
No,
decide where you're at.
it's at least
So
a
Michelle,
point.
real quick. So I'm watching the live stream through like the Facebook page and getting on our team page all kind of questions. You're watching your questions on your page, and nobody's questioning.
I see them too. I can see both.
Oh, you can see both. So nobody's questioning on my page. I'm watching that. So you're definitely the star of the show. People follow you more. So, okay. So Tanya
Josh
asked.
Norby asked a question too.
Okay, so we'll get to Josh's. Tanya asked a question. She was looking. They were buying a home. Got laid off. Should they wait to get back to work to buy? And I think Michelle kind of answered it. If you're not currently working, most lenders pretty much can't count your income. And that'd be, you can't buy a home, you have to wait. Now, there are people who have lots of assets and could be laid off and buy a home. So that's not the answer for everybody. But in most cases, if you're furloughed or not working, you will have to wait. And then when you get back to work, you probably can buy right away if, finances are in place, down payments in place. And I know, Michelle, you have one closing soon that sounds like it's going to work out fine.
Yeah, I have a couple that the people were furloughed, some were unemployed. It just happened to work out so far that one or the other, like Renee was saying in her question, that one or the other makes enough to cover the loan. Sometimes barely, but as long as they make enough money and can work out the debt to income ratio, it has worked out so long. But when you're furloughed, you cannot buy a house. You have to wait to come back to work. Usually I think they can do it like literally that week. If there's a lender on here that might want to tell us for sure. Oh, Sean's on here. He might be able to tell us. I mean, you should just log him in here. But
I could log Sean in here, but he'd steal the show, right, Sean? No. We should have a mortgage guy. These are all mortgage questions that we can't answer expertise-wise, just real estate-wise. So how does mortgage insurance determine a home loan? Yes, that would be a mortgage person's question. If you want, I don't even know your email anymore. Probably
said, take care, guys, but he said you need to have me on.
Oh, he did.
He'd have real answers to our questions. No, I mean our answers are pretty accurate. They're just not like they know more than we do.
Yeah. And on mortgage insurance, that's calculated, I think, on a lot of things. Could depend on your credit, obviously how much down payment, the price of the house, those kind of things. So hopefully that answers it a little bit. And thanks for your question. And again, all these questions.
Still on here. He said that you usually have to wait 30 days to get 30 days. I can't read. Usually have to wait 30 days back to work.
30 days of pay stubs is a typical thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds good. Are there questions that we missed? What was Norby's question, Josh?
I don't think, maybe he's trying to be funny. I'm trying to read it.
Josh is normally trying to be funny, so I don't. That's what I'm saying. Is it an actual question?
I don't know.
And Josh, if you're watching, we love you, and I haven't seen you forever, so I guess this is the way to banter back and forth.
He said he's 6'2", 200 pounds. How have you had to adapt in this time, and will any of these adaptions stick?
Yeah, you answer that one. That's yours. It was on your page, Michelle. I don't see that question. So
I just think he's trying to be funny. So
does that mean he's lost weight or gained weight? I wonder.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Who has lost weight over this stay-at-home order? If you change your routine, who's gained weight? I work out every day, and I think I've gained 5 pounds because I also used to play basketball for a while, and now I'm not playing basketball, and the running's going okay. Except today when I ran in the rain, turned the corner, there was like a little mudslide, totally wiped out. My knee is like literally all blood and guts. So
didn't you do that like a year ago on the mountain in Arizona too? Where you almost
did that about a year ago on the mountain where I like literally stumbled like 30 feet down the mountain going like full speed. And I got hurt worse then. This was just, I have some scrapes, so it's not as bad as the mountain one. But anyway, that's just part of it. But part of the reason I gained 5 pounds, I'm doing the Body Beast workout on Beachbody, and it's like beefs you up a little bit. So I think most of the weight's muscle. So if there's a 40 and over football league, maybe I'd be good to go for that. And then when I get back to basketball, I'm just going to I'm going to beat people up. I'm just going to box them out hard. No, we don't do that with our guys. Our guys are super cool to play with.
So. No, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, to answer that question, mean, that's a good question. I mean, now we're on talk about real estate, but how many of you are like working out every day when you like never worked out before because you have way too much time to work out? And how many of you have way too much time to work out and you're still not working out? Yeah. It's all good questions. And how tired are your dogs?
My
are your
dog
dogs on top of your cupboard not trying to go for a walk anymore and screaming at you not to walk, making you like pull them out? They don't want to walk.
My dog did not want to go on the walk today in the rain. I think if he would have came on the walk, he would have saved me, because that was probably, I would took it a lot easier on the turn, or nothing, that maybe my knee would have landed on him and not on the concrete. So one of the two might have worked better. But I was all by myself.
Hi. So I'm just telling you.
Who's that?
Our teammate Stacy says hi.
Stacy's there. Cool. Is she watching on your page too?
Yeah. And then Josh said, I've gained 12 pounds. That's what I was talking about. The second part was a serious question. How have you as a realtor had to adapt? Good question. Okay. As realtors, we follow the CDC guidelines. When we need to wear masks, we wear masks. When we need to wear gloves, we wear gloves. When we need to sanitize things, we sanitize things. But as far as adapting, any of you that worked with us know that we've already been doing 3D tours. We already do Facebook Lives. We already do live tours, live videos, live everything. I've already sold 2 houses this year that I didn't even meet the people until like the closing before this even started. So for me, I haven't had to adapt as much as other realtors have to adapt. Like maybe I had to wear gloves, but I think I was like, this is kind of funny. I'm kind of a little bit of a germaphobe, but I think I'm less of a germaphobe than I was before. Like, especially in the winter, and I always wear gloves, shake hands with my glove, like winter gloves on. I mean, I know that's not like probably any sanitary for me though, like super germaphobe. Now that COVID is here, not even germaphobe. I'm like, okay, I don't have to shake anybody's hand, so I'm not gonna touch their hand anyways. I mean, but all seriousness, like the things that other realtors, a lot of them have to do, we were already doing. So we are already set to do. If you were scared to go on live video, if you were scared to Skype show a house before, like, and now you have to do it, we were already doing that. I've sold houses to people from other states coming here. Some I knew, some I didn't know, and sold them via phone where they never went to the house. So, I mean, good question, Josh, though. But like for us, I feel like we haven't had to adapt a lot as far as like being the realtor part. Maybe somewhat on the back end. I know we were talking a lot on our team this week and last week about if you run a small business or any kind of sales, any kind of business, really even in your life right now, you're probably needing to like double down. So if you want to talk a little bit about doubling down, Chuck, you probably really explain that as far as what we're doing, realtors doubling down, but then even, to help somebody else.
So as far as piggybacking the adapting, you answered most of the questions on that. So we typically sit down at a table face to face, sign a listing, right? I have electronically signed every listing since then, and listings had slowed down over what they would be. I need to count out what we had for listings this month. It probably wasn't year over year that much less, but just year to date, less listings. But I haven't sat down in front of somebody. I might have gone through their house. There's a lot of people that'll be vacant, leave us the keys. I'll go in and like, here's what's going on. I'll video chat them or meet them, and we'll social distance several feet away, standing up, quick chat, and then go back and electronic sign. So that's one adjustment that Michelle didn't mention. And I have one that lives in Wisconsin, has a place in East Bethel we're going to list by the end of the week. I did meet him right as this started, even before the stay-at-home order. Went through the house with him, told him what to do, gave him disclosure paperwork to fill out like over a month ago. Left the lockbox on. He got a painter in through the lockbox, and he dropped off the paperwork there today. Sent the electronic signing up tonight. We'll be photoing it this week. It'll be on the market, and I met with him for 20 minutes at his house. That's way different. We used to do it differently, so that would be an adaptation. So
that's true too. Like I was saying the other day, I went to a closing, and the girl like went to hug me, and then she like space hugged me because she like totally forgot she's not supposed to hug me. I can't go to the closing. I mean, I can go to the walkthrough, kind of not go to the walkthrough. I'm not supposed to go anywhere if I have a fever, but I haven't had a fever in like 4 weeks, so we're good. But that's funny though, because we used to always go to closings. We bring our like thank you gifts to the closings, like take pictures, and now it's like, hey guys, have fun at your closing. Text me when you're done. I mean,
Yeah. We don't go to closings. Buyers. So for somebody who used to sit at a closing table and you closed on a house and the buyer, the seller, the lender was there, the buyer agent, the seller agent was there. It's the closer and the seller's pre-signing. It's the closer, then getting the paperwork to the buyer's closer, and then the closer and the buyer, the real estate agents, text each other when it closes, and that's way different too. So there are a lot of different.
I know, it's kind of funny because I remember like when the old days when we went to closings, like if there was a lender, like you had the seller and the lenders on the buy side, they'd always like try to talk to you, try to get your business. Now it's like, don't even know who these people are.
Yeah. So Tanya's got a couple more questions. One about Winona, Minnesota. So Michelle mentioned up front, she's in the Twin Cities. I'm in Cambridge. Stacy's in Zimmerman. We do cover a wide area. My wife went to college in Winona, but we have yet to go down to Winona to help people buy houses.
I a house in Rochester though.
Yep. So I haven't looked there. I don't know what's available in Winona, Minnesota on acreage because I do not look there. But that's something we could always.
Realtors in Rochester or Winona area though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you may have had a realtor from starting the buying process, but if not, we could definitely connect with somebody if you need it. So you can just let us know and we would do that. And hopefully you get back to work and things will get going and you can buy by the end of the summer. If that was your goal, maybe moving during the summer, you can still do that then. So gosh, these are all great questions. It takes a little bit.
Another comment. He said, I don't blame Chuck's dog. I wouldn't want to be seen in public with him either.
Those are comments that you're supposed to leave off the air, but whatever, Michelle.
No, everyone can see them. They're on my Facebook.
Okay, sounds
good.
You
watch the video and you can see everybody's comments go through?
So I'm watching. So just so you know, you don't have the back office, right, Michelle, of this broadcast? I do. So I get comments on my end, but I don't get the comments on your Facebook page. And then nobody's commenting on my Facebook page. So again, you're the star of the show. People see Michelle's live. Oh, Michelle's live. I want to see her.
Everyone knows. So everyone on the Carstensen team page, this is my brother, and he tries to make fun of me all the time. Don't blame him, I guess.
Well, so I know for sure anytime we do this, it's got to be at least one pretty lady on it because people aren't coming to see me.
I know. So if we just put Stacy on here with us, they'll just block you off and you can just look at the comments and read us the comments and we'll just comment on them for you.
Well, if Stacy wants to get on here, we can invite her in sometime. We can get Melissa in.
She's probably working out right now. So if we added her in right now, she'd be like, no, my hair.
My hair is horrible and long. Like it was sticking up all over.
Super long. Like super long.
And I had to pat it down just to kind of look good, but you can see some of it sticking up. And normally when I do videos now, when I do like the videos, whenever I do the face ones, it's always like, oh, the hair's bad. I've just given up on the hair for a little bit.
His hair's bad and he talks way too much. He talks and talks and talks. But the funny thing is, so some of you know that we work together. So we're all over in these different Facebook pages. Lots of people know that. Not everyone know that. So what we do when we have a team, it's me, Stacy, and Chuck. Stacy's not our sibling, but she still likes us, so it works well. Anyways, she sometimes shows houses, I do and Chuck does, or like both of us the same people. So Chuck will meet them first, Stacy will meet them first, or I'll meet them. And the comments I always get every time with me and Chuck is always like, Chuck doesn't talk. Chuck doesn't talk. And like I talk. And then we get a live, like, or in like a Zoom call, all Chuck does is talk like the whole time. So it's kind of funny. Just throwing that out there.
I'm baffled. I'm going to be quiet now. We're going to make this a one person show right here.
No, don't do that. No, I don't care. Okay, so I have something I wanted to mention, and maybe if anyone wants to comment on this, that'd be great. So I see like the Menards parking lot so full. Like I have a Menards like a mile from my house, and when I drive by the Menards, I'm like, okay, so there's 300 cars in the parking lot. It's probably exaggeration, but it's totally full. Like it's just as full as it was any day before in the spring, right? So now that you're at home doing your home projects and going through your house, what is like the biggest thing that in your house that you're like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know this was here. I don't like this and I really want to change this. And now you're changing it. I mean, paint is probably the easiest thing. And have any of you like start a new project and just try to like rip out a wall or something and then realize that you can't do that on your own? So if you want to put a comment on there to address something like that, because one of the things is I feel like a lot of people don't spend a lot of time in their house unless they work from home or I guess maybe like a stay-at-home mom or dad. But I feel like now that everyone's at home, we're like, oh my gosh, like my house is so dirty, my house is so clean. Like I didn't realize how small my bedroom was. I didn't realize how small my closet was. Or some people are like cleaning out their closet and trying to donate all their stuff to the donation bins, and now they don't take them anymore. So I see like bags and bags of donation stuff by those bins too. So if anyone has comments on that, we'd love to hear about that. I think I told Chuck about talking about the doubling down thing, and now he disappeared. So he's gonna want me to.
I'm back. I just you know everybody loves you, so I went away for a little bit.
Oh, Chuck, you're so jealous.
I'm not. I'm fine. I encourage you to do more lives.
Oh no, Josh is commenting on here for you.
Oh, he went to the right page here. Thanks, Josh. You're funny. Josh Norby, one of the all-time funniest guys.
Yeah, we were going to talk about like the doubling down is part of like something we've had to do different to adapt as realtors, but also like maybe in your business or maybe in your family life or maybe in your routine or organization, whatever it is. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what doubling down means in real estate and how they can apply it to what they're doing.
Oh, sure.
Currently at home or where they are.
So one of the statistics we probably touched on for a couple seconds earlier is listings. Like literally, I looked at statistics today, national wise, but listings are down about 50%. About 50% of sellers decided to come out of the market now, or actually 55, or at least hold off. Maybe they're coming on in 2 weeks, and they would have been on 6 weeks ago. And then about 44% of buyers aren't in the market, and some of it could be because of layoffs, furloughs, those kind of things. So there are less listings. So in order to do the business you'd normally do with half as many people looking, doubling down means you have to contact more people, expand your reach, do things, obviously differently to get in front of more people, which this would exactly be one of them. This is a spot where, yes, we're going to have 10, 15 people, watching here and there and checking in, and we're going to send out the recording and those kind of things. And that gets us in front of people we might not have talked about real estate. That's a way of doubling down a little bit. Also could be calling more people, emailing more people, texting more people, which I know you all love if we're reaching out to you. But really, when we're reaching out, it's just to check in to see if there's any needs. Like the person I mentioned earlier that called me about refinancing, past customer, bought a home a few years ago. Hey, how can I help you? Is there anything I can assist you with and answer your questions on? They're not looking to buy or sell in all likelihood, but they called me about the refinancing questions and what to do. And then I sent them to the lender that helped them 7 years ago buy a house. And then they'll probably take it from there. So we're just looking and just like this, answer your questions, help you, be of service. But doubling down for other businesses would be literally like doubling your reach. Like if you had time to double your reach, you go for it. Like I don't have a lot of time to double my reach. Like one of the adaptions are distance learning. I've got 4 kids, 3 of them can handle it themselves. The second grader needs a lot of work. So the second grader has been taking my mornings. And typically if I make a call in the morning or somebody calls me and I'm on the phone, he is like in my face, like, Daddy, I have a question. And he literally knows all the answers, but just wants to double check that he's doing it right, which is totally fine. But
isn't that like doubling down too, though? So you're like, now you have to be daddy, realtor, teacher, like housekeeper, because Melissa's actually working outside the house. So now you're like tripling down. So isn't like most people out there already doubling you down? So they're trying to like keep their house organized, maybe keep their business going, take care of their kids. By the afternoon, they're probably like screaming, ripping their hair out, and having a drink on their patio.
Yeah, that would be a form of doubling down, or at least changing how you do it, pivoting, if nothing else, pivoting how you operate your life and your routine for sure. And I know when I did the live with Kurt last week, we talked a lot about pivoting. So there's ways.
I was like helping AJ with his AP macro class today. And I was like, oh, I took AP macro like 10 years ago online. Like I can do this. And seriously, I'm like reading from a book. I'm like, we have to print this out and write notes. And he's like, Mom, no, that's not how school is these days. Like, how old are you? And I was like trying to help him. And I literally had just like taken some blankets out of the dryer and threw them down because I was going to like fold them after I was helping him. I went and crawled under the blankets because I was like, I cannot help you. This is way too hard. Like I never learned any of this stuff. Like this is insane. Like I don't actually know how teachers are doing it, like online, trying to give them all this, trying to correct them, trying to correct their stuff, trying to like keep organized. Then some of them have kids at home too. Like seriously, no chance. I will never, you play the game like never ever, what would you never ever do? I will never ever 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 go back to school. Never. I'll do anything, but I'll go milk cows. I'll like raise pigs. I am not going back to school ever. No, not doing it. So
yeah. So we're getting a little bit of scroll. Denise answered the question that she did, repaint the living room, do some spring cleaning, and makes, with the donation bag she mentioned. And I thank you. Yep. We didn't totally answer your question, obviously, on a home loan. We did a little bit. We could reach out to lender for specifics, like I said, but typically, yeah, down payment, price point, type of loan, they're all different. There's a calculation. There's even a chance that if the numbers work, you actually can prepay for the mortgage insurance upfront and then not have to pay it on a monthly basis. There's all kind of options on those things. So it'll come out on the individual situation. So that's something to look at when you do decide to buy.
For everyone that's joining now, thanks for joining. I see a ton of you joining on here, probably on my Facebook. I don't know what you can see. Do you want to answer the question about, is Zillow a good source for actively looking?
Oh, no, that's a great question. I think Zillow is the most popular source now. That's where most people go. And because most people go there, I'm not going to say they're not a great source. Here's your two challenges with Zillow, and Michelle might think of another one. Number one, if there's a home that shows active, they could have it sold subject to home inspection. If you've ever bought a home, you know what I'm talking about. You buy it and you have the home inspection period for 7 to 10 days. And during that home inspection period, the seller doesn't really show the house. On the multiple listing service that the realtors use, it shows active, sold subject to inspection. But on Zillow, quite often, it looks like it's an active home. So we get tons of calls from people on Zillow who probably have an agent, and they're like, oh, my agent didn't send me this listing. Well, they didn't, because it's sold subject to inspection. There's not going to be showings on it. So no, that's why they didn't send it.
We could do a whole show on Zillow calls.
We probably could. So that's one reason you're going to get annoyed by them. But that's where, when you are looking, you'd want to have a realtor then kind of go through that and say, yep, those are sold. And the reason they're not sending them is because they're sold. And
the other thing with Zillow too is there's a lot of foreclosures that won't be on the market. Could be in a month, and it might not be for 12 months or ever. So those are like the difficult ones too. So if you're driving by those, some people call me and they're like, hey, I'm at this foreclosure. It has a sign on the door. The door's open. Can I just walk in?
Yeah. And the other thing on foreclosures, it has these pre-foreclosures. And literally, I bet 90% of them, at least 60% of them sold 3 to 5 years ago. And I'll get calls, hey, I'm looking at this foreclosure, and I'll look it up, and it sold in like 2016 for way low. So somebody out there's like just salivating that this is the deal of the century that they call on. I even had a lady call last week that was like, is this Zillow? I'm like, no, I'm a local agent. How can I help you? What was your question? Oh, it's about this house here. Okay, what about the house? Well, that's my house, and it's showing up pre-foreclosure, and I pay my payments. And they were like super pissed at Zillow. I'm like, I don't have anything to do with it, but here's what might have happened. And I told her to go in and to update the homeowner stuff on Zillow and see if that works. If not, then she's still mad at Zillow. So,
I mean, we like Zillow because that's where we get a lot of our people that we've worked with in the past, and then they refer us to people. I mean, it's not like Zillow's bad. Like I go on, like if I'm looking for houses in a different state, just like because I'm bored and I'm like, oh, I want to live in the ocean, I go on Zillow. So I'm not saying it's bad at all. It's just they're not. I say the best answer to that is they're not extremely accurate. So if you want an accurate knowledge of, is this house on the market, just call a local realtor and they'll tell you.
Yeah. Yep. So that makes sense. So yeah, great questions, and I appreciate the interaction. I mean, there's probably enough questions where we're for sure going to give away a couple gift cards in the drawing.
And if you guys are enjoying our conversation even a little bit, if you give us likes, that's good.
Yes. We need to get like 20 likes. And now if there's only 12 people on there, maybe we wouldn't get, I'm going to like it myself.
And you can like it during the program. If you're like, oh, Chuck just said something really stupid, I'm going to like that, or love it, or laugh at it, or make an angry face, I guess, whatever you want to do.
Typically, normally I say something kind of passive aggressive if I'm on air long enough, so I could get somebody angry. It's possible. And I'm not even a bad guy who likes to stir the pot. I mean, I can a little bit. We're keeping it clean tonight, though. We're keeping it clean. This is the PG version here right now. Maybe even
and it's funny that we can have questions on different pages.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's funny that your showed up on my page, but I don't see any comments on my page when I'm looking over to my page. So one thing
oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to talk about this where people were asking about the stats, and I know we're going to show some stats, so I'll kind of go into that. I feel like there's going to be a lot of homes on the market for sale that were never going to be on the market before. Either, it could be because somebody lost your job, but I think it's really because people are like, wow, I didn't realize that my kid is going to be 16 years old next year, and we have a 1-car garage, and we have 3 cars, and we just need a bigger house. Or my daughter wants to move in the basement, and my son wants to move in this room. We just don't have enough rooms. So the more you spend time at your house, where, again, like I said before, we weren't really spending time at our house. The more you spend time at a house, the more you realize you want a different house. So if you're like, oh, there's not going to be any houses on the market, I think there's going to be more houses that there wouldn't be on the market before on the market because of this. Not always for negative reasons. I think sometimes for positive reasons too. So if we go into that, we can kind of go into going over some stats. So if you guys are like, oh, I'm a stats person, I need to see how is the market really doing? You guys might just be talking a lot and not sure what you're talking about. We're going to show you some stats of what we were talking about early on about how showings are down, listings are down. That doesn't mean the prices are down.
Yeah, so we haven't answered that question too thoroughly because I got into it a little bit on the people that thought there'd be a lot of foreclosures. I was explaining the foreclosure process and that most people really don't need to go into foreclosure. And then I think we started answering some questions. But that because and in Minnesota, if people were going into foreclosure, it'd be 12 months before you can live in your house 12 months without making a payment, and then the bank takes another 2 months to a year to list it. So the houses wouldn't be out for a long time if there were a lot of foreclosures due to this. But I was stating up front with deferments on loans because of COVID-19, you just have to call your lender if you are having an issue with making your payments. But what Michelle was saying is, since you're at home more now, one question would be, what have you worked on to improve your house to make you like it more? Or what have you noticed that might mean what, I'd really like to get something a little bit different, a little bit better. And I think that was her question.
Yeah, I mean, and I just saw this question too. Will the listings be better after the virus stuff subsides?
Yeah.
Probably way more listings. I've got 4 right now, just waiting, just waiting to pop up and show you who they are. So, yes, there'll be
there'll be more listings. Will they be better? I mean, there'll be more of what they were, which some of them are really nice. And I think more than ever, though, a spinoff of that question is your house has to be a 9 or a 10. If you got a 5 or a 6, which isn't better, which is we need a lot of improvements, but you want to throw it out there, you got to price it accordingly because most people just don't want to deal with stuff. And if they do, they want a significant discount. In the current market, 2019 into 2020, probably 2021, the current day foreclosure kind of house is the house that isn't better, that hasn't been well kept. People will want to send you low offers and pay you less than you think it's worth because there's defects on it, and the home inspection will show it. So I think less and less, and it was getting this way last year and now into this year and going forward, people trying to sell their, their 5 out of 10 rating house, kind of crappy with a lot of work needed. If they try to get top dollar for it, are going to be exposed. It's not going to work as well.
Well, to add to that, something I just thought about, because everyone's at home now. If you are thinking hey, we might actually sell, one thing you can do, the cheapest thing you can do, is go get some paint and paint your house. Paint the inside of your house, make it look fresh, because that is the biggest thing that we notice going in right away is the wallpaper from 1976, or the paint that's all scratched up. Even with my dog, Roxy Boxer, She drools everywhere, and there's always drool everywhere. I notice that when I go in. Maybe my buyers don't notice, and I'm not gonna like, hey, look at the drool from the dog, but freshen up your house. If you're even considering selling the next year, I mean, the paint will look good for a year. Like, totally paint your rooms while you have time. It's one of the things.
Yeah, this is a good time to do stuff, which my wife would love me to do stuff. I'm not a honey-do list guy. And
so you're the guy on like the gift that's like my wife thinks I told her I'd fix this like when I have time. Now I have time and I can't fix it.
Well, I don't have any extra time though. That's what I was trying to say before when you're talking about doubling down and distance learning, and then still reaching out to people and doing the appointments and those kind of things. So I don't seem to have like extra time to do it. I can't think of anything that I fixed in the house though. So, but I'm happy to find somebody who wants to work on some things and make the house better, which I've done in the past. Get pay the painter and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of handymen out there that can do it. And Wayne Carstensen tried to teach Chuck Carstensen, that's our dad, how to fix stuff. And I think of the three, we have another brother. Of the three that actually might know how to fix something would be me or Kurt. Definitely not Chuck. Chuck cannot fix anything. So.
I've fixed like a couple things in my life, but I just don't like to do it. All right, so I'm gonna probably pull up the stats in a second, Michelle, in the screen share, and let's see what happens here. It'll take a minute, so see what happens. If it doesn't work right, it'll look weird. So that just looked weird. So
that looks weird.
Okay, we got it? All right.
Yeah.
Again, first time master control. So this is for last week's showing, and it goes back for, as of last week, this is their up to date. It goes back basically the whole COVID time. As you can see on this first chart, is it showing everything or is it cut off on your screen?
No, it's showing.
Okay, good. I was looking over at the other screen. So when this all started, if you want to talk about, here's how I denote when this started, is that when it started, the Cambridge Isani Blue Jackets played a section finals game on a Thursday. What date was that Thursday? I don't know, the 12th or something. Anyway,
yes.
Played on a Thursday, won the game. We're going to go to state. We're all excited. And then they're like, no more basketball. And that was it. That's what it started for me. It's like, okay, this just got really real quick. So they advanced the state tournament for the second straight year. And then the dreams were over of advancing any farther and winning some games and getting a rematch with like Eden Prairie or something like that. So anyway, that week though, showings on the red line, as you can see here, were way higher than last year. Then all of a sudden, the next week, they literally dipped below last year. Last year's the blue line. This year, the red line. Then look on the next week, even lower. Then look like stay at home again. It literally was 50% down from year over year. This is the Twin Cities office. We got a graphic for the outlying areas too.
Graphic to use, just to give people example. I mean, we don't have to use all of them, but I think that's a good one.
And now you can look each week, it's starting to steadily go back up for showing increase there. And this is our company-wide, which is very, very much the same sort of drawing. Company-wide would be outside of the Twin Cities area where like myself and Stacy do a lot of the showings out that way. Michelle, we can't get Michelle out of the cities too much. It's painful for her to leave the comfort of the Twin Cities, right?
Yes. Where's the one where it has like the listings? Go to that one.
Okay. Daily showings. Look at that graph on the daily showings. So daily showings, as you can see, it's starting to catch up on a lot of days. But the thing about that graph, which we're not going to spend much time on, the Tuesdays and the Thursdays could be off because of year over year. They're taking the actual date.
Keep going. Yeah.
So new listings.
Example for listings, how the listings have gone down. That doesn't mean that that realtors don't have signed contracts. And again, this is just Remax results. That doesn't mean there isn't signed contracts waiting. That just means people are not putting their house on the market. Yep.
And we've got a few of those coming up, like Michelle said. And this is company wide. So they dropped off significantly. They were hanging in there those first 3 weeks. Then they dropped off when the stay at home again. Then they really dropped off. Like I think some people like quick get it on the market, stay at home, and then basically then half the people decided not to get it on the market, and that's what I touched on earlier. And but pending sales, this is the thing. pending sales are starting to catch up year over year. As you can see, when we started right before the stay-at-home, pending sales were better than last year. Stay-at-home, pending sales are better with RE/MAX results. Now, if you got some other agent with another company, God bless them, but RE/MAX results is the best. So we're going to be doing better than most people. And on the RE/MAX Minnesota list through March, 4 teams, the Carstensen team was top 13. Now you may say, is that good or bad? Well, I'm sure there's hundreds of teams in Minnesota, and we're probably one of the only 3-person teams that we're probably the highest 3-person selling staff team on that list. So yeah, that's pretty good. And we, so what that means, we had a good start to the year. And then
just showing you this, just to give an example of what we're saying when we're saying the showings are down, the listings are down, but the prices really haven't gone down. I mean, I would say there's not, the first week of May, I was in multiple offers with like 8 or 10 people betting $20,000 over list price. Granted, when I say that doesn't mean the list price was where it should be either.
This isn't the price. This is just pending amount of sales too. This isn't the list price. This is just total people getting accepted offers, this screen. So it went way down those couple weeks year over year, and now it's catching back up and starting to get back to almost normal, at least with RE/MAX. Like I said, if you don't have a RE/MAX agent, it's, I don't know what their numbers are, but I'm assuming, you know what? I'm almost starting to take my shots here. I got to reel me back in.
Shots. You got to come back in. Here's the deal. Ask them to show you these kind of stats. Just ask them. They have graphs. They should, if they work for a company. So, I think that's good on those stats that we showed. So that's cool.
Here's the Twin Cities total housing inventory stats. So year over year, it's in the Twin Cities this time of year. Each of the months of the year, it was down the whole time. So that's what that graphic says, meaning there's just less listings. We've had trouble all year with having the amount of listings. People are just settled in or whatever. Go ahead.
If we go to talk about then, you can take the graph off now if you want. But if we're talking about, if people ask, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What kind of market is it? So if you're looking at those stats, that's kind of like macroeconomics right there. So if you're looking at those stats, what kind of market is it? Is it a seller's market or is it a buyer's market currently?
You're asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm interviewing you.
So sorry, I was looking at comments. So I still think it's a seller's market with the buyers having ability to have opportunities in certain places, meaning the low inventory has kept the prices up. Sellers on most price ranges and areas, if their house is a 9 or a 10, are getting offers very quickly, and they're selling for more than they did last year by 1 to 3%, not way higher. I think the biggest challenge I'm seeing is there's sellers, and I don't know, maybe their agents are advising this or don't know any better. They're listing at 15% year over year prices. What are you doing?
Yeah, they are.
But I think it is going to start to settle into a normal market sooner rather than later. Because there's going to be a spurt of listings coming out after the stay-at-home gets listed with all these pent-up listings that people have been holding off. And there's still only going to be a similar amount of buyers because some of them got to get back to work for 30 days, for example. So that could shift it to normal market. On the listings we have been seeing lower offers than normal. And in the normal market, buyers try to get the price down and negotiate back and forth. So it is leaning towards a normal market. Definitely not a buyer's market, though. Was that your answer, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, I was just asking you. I don't think it's going to be a buyer's market either. I was on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and some agent was like, hold on to your cash. It's going to be foreclosures coming left and right in a few months. And I think we talked about that earlier.
I did a whole video on that.
That doesn't mean there isn't going to be foreclosures, but if they are, some of them, the ones that will come will get, like you said, 12 to 18 months. It's not going to be tomorrow. So if some of those banks your cash do that.
And some of those banks actually bulk sell off their assets to a different third-party corporate party, and then they don't come on as typical foreclosures. So I went wait for foreclosures in Minnesota, maybe in other areas that
I know. Here's a good question. This is a question I get a lot, almost every day. Should I wait to buy and like I can buy, working, essential worker. Should I wait to buy, or should I buy now? Interviewing you again.
Yeah, I would always either I know their situation if they ask the question. If I didn't ask the question, I'd find out. Like, for example, I had 2 people right away when this started that are in rentals, and they're like, no, we want to buy. They were nervous about buying, and they made offers to try to, get it down. And basically what I told one of them is this is the very beginning of this, like the early March period. I said, the market year over year is going to be up, I think, in the end, like 2-3%, like it is now, like we're seeing currently. But even if the market get down, because things could change, and especially weeks ago when I didn't know for sure, things could change. But I thought the worst it would be is 10% down at the very worst. So if you're somebody a little bit nervous about buying, but want to get out your rental and thought, well, what can I do? If you can cut that down and get the seller down 5%, then you probably did well. And even if it went down 10%, you got it down 5%, you'd rather be in a house than your apartment, right? Would you want to have been stuck at stay at home for several weeks in an apartment? Probably not. That's a lot of people want to buy because of it. And it's turning out that those people are super excited because one of them's closing in a couple of days. The other one's closing next week, and they're excited. They did it. Now they've been stuck in their rentals since then, but their jobs have all worked out fine and haven't had any problems. And then they're going to be closing. So it depends on
thing. I have the same thing. I have buyers that were looking to buy because their lease is running out. I still have some now, and they're like, I'm buying. I mean, the interest rate's low enough. You're not likely going to see this lower interest rate. When was the last time? 4 years ago, it was lower, but otherwise it was like 8 years ago, right? I mean, you could be moving in 4 years and move to a different house, but if you're considering buying, the rates are low, which helps you. Your payment's a couple $100, probably lower a month, depending on the price range of the house. So, that's what I say. If you're ready to buy and you're in a rental, like you were saying, why would you not buy? There wouldn't be people refinancing if it's not a good time to buy. They wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing too, I had somebody I met with yesterday, and they have a house to sell and buy, and what we talked about there, and obviously it's totally up to their situation. I take each individual situation and talk about it, and they were asking about the values. I told them this is the highest your house has ever been. They're like, I don't think it's going to go up. I said, well, yeah, it probably will go up by 1 to 3% normal appreciation a year, because I don't actually think the market's going down. It'll stay kind of flat. I had these videos out day one of this telling people what was going to happen. It'll be interesting to see if, looking back at my March videos, when most people were like, don't tell anybody anything, or we don't know what's going to happen. It'll be interesting if I'm accurate a year and a half from now. But I feel good about it. And they felt good, like their house is highest value. I said it probably goes up 1 to 3%, but you got to understand, inflation is going to happen because of the economic situation. If you have cash in hand but put it in the house, that actually helps hedge your bet against inflation, meaning that your house goes up but your money goes down if it's sitting in the bank account. You'd want to get it out of the bank account. Some people wanted to, they wish they got it out of the stock market, in February. So housing is important to actually have your money in. And then with these people, I said, with the low interest rates, like Michelle said, and your house being top value, and you're looking to maybe build a house and get land, and builders, hopefully during this time, they have been slowed down, but they're still busy. And hopefully this is like the perfect time to find that upgrade house that you're looking for while your home's max value and your interest rate's going to go down like a half a point or more based on what the current rates are. So based on that, their interest rate goes down, even that they pay more for the house, they sell their house top dollar. The numbers totally work way better to move for most people right now, especially a buy, sell, upgrade by, 100,000, 80,000, 60,000 situation. The numbers work really good for most people right now.
Well, yeah, because if you say you were pre-approved for 170,000, you might now be pre-approved for 190 or 200, which might give you another bedroom just because of the interest rate, like literally just because of the interest rate. So, I mean, I saw people that were buying in February, beginning of March. They were quoted a certain interest rate. Here's your payment. By the time they closed and got their interest rate locked, I mean, their payment was a couple $100 less a month, and nobody's complaining about that. So, I think that's a good thing as well. to think about when you're thinking about buying. And one of my last questions for you is, now I just blanked on it.
Before you think about that question, so we're going to wrap this up. We're at 1 hour and 5 minutes. We want to not go over 1 hour and 15 minutes. So if you did have questions and haven't asked one yet, if you haven't asked a question yet, please ask it. We'll ask it on the air. By you asking a question, you're entered in a drawing. And I think we're going to give away, at this point, based on the interaction, 2 $25 gift cards, one for one winner, one for another winner. You'll be entered into a drawing, and we'll give away a couple things there. So free gift card. We'll obviously look through this. We have our assistant Esther do some drawing thing, and then we'll update everybody.
Yeah, we have an assistant too. Lucky us. Lucky us.
The best one ever. So we are very lucky. Last chance to ask your question to get on that. But please do share it. People can watch the replays on this. Please do share it out. That'd be a way to get in the drawing too for the gift card. It's been scrolling the whole screen. I know people are sharing, like, should I share this? What will my friends think? There's that one guy and that woman that everybody loves to look at on the screen. So yeah, just I'll go like this. I'll go like this. Now share it now. Share it quickly.
No, just kidding. The last thing I'm gonna say too. I mean, a good question would be if you wanted to ask us. My realtor won't show me houses now, won't get back to me. They must be really busy. And my answer to that is, I don't know why they're getting back to you. Like Chuck said, he's busy, but it's not because he's showing houses for 12 hours a day. So if your realtor's not getting back to you now or anytime when you're working with them, just, I don't know. If my car dealer guy that I was trying to buy a car from wasn't getting back to me, I wouldn't buy a car from him. So I'm just saying, if your realtor's not getting back to you, it's not because they're super busy. They should be getting back to you. So I get that question. I got that question a couple of times. I got that question on Saturday too. Like the guy was like helping his realtor, wasn't getting back to him. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Quick question. I got to find a new angle for the screen because I noticed when I'm looking down at comments, it looks like I'm looking down. But anyway, we'll figure that out.
I'm like, ah.
You look fine. Like you're looking straight ahead on yours. So what I was going to say about that, on one of my follow-up calls today, I talked to a lady who was on Zillow or called on one of my listings, and I sent her some listings, and she's like, oh, I talked to a bunch of realtors because you're just hopping around Zillow, back to the Zillow conversation. She's like, yeah, a lot of the realtors don't even get back to me. And well, I told her, why don't you just send me the list of the listings you want? I'll check into all of them. I'll get back to you a lot of times right away. If it's during the day, for sure, within a couple hours. And if you send them to me late tonight, obviously I'll follow up in the morning. And instead of clicking on Zillow on 17 different listings for 17 different agents and having 6 of them follow up and 11 of them ghost you, like, why not just have a realtor that can help you and knows, wants to help you and serve you and make it the best experience possible. And that's what we aim to do. And we always work on that. And, that doesn't make us perfect. I'm sure there's sometimes we're like, it doesn't always work out, but yeah, we're on top of things. So that's what Michelle, I think, is getting at.
Yes. That's what I'm getting at. If your realtor's not getting back to you, you should call somebody else. So
unless you're under contract, I guess you're stuck with them.
Stuck with them.
Okay. Last call for comments. We're going to wrap this up in 8 minutes or less. And we appreciate, this is our first StreamYard live.
Likes are good. That makes us go up on Google and, I'm not like begging for likes, but we're just trying to see what we can do with this, see how we can help people. And of course, Chuck, you should put your phone number, somebody's phone number, email on how to contact us as well. Like if you don't want to ask your question on here, but you really have a question you want to ask us, feel free to email us or call us. Chuck puts that on there.
Well, if I put your number on there, you get all kind of guys calling you. So I'm just going to put my number on there.
I think my number's all over on our website anyway. So
don't call now. I'm not going to answer it, but call later or text me. Text me would be good. And
how has the pandemic made this a buyer's or seller's market, or neither? I'm sure many are scared to buy or sell right now. All right. Thanks, Nikki, for a question. We kind of answered that earlier, and we'll just briefly go back through us. It's still a seller's market is what we were talking about. We showed graphs as well as we know from our own knowledge. Sellers, there's listings out there that we aren't putting on because of this. They're waiting. And that might be waiting because they don't want people there in their house. And that might be waiting because they're waiting for a better price. And we don't know if the prices are going to go up. So that's another question, what we talked about earlier as well, is is now a good time to buy or not? It's very hard to say because we haven't been realtors. Chuck was a realtor down during the like 2008, 2009, 2010, but I wasn't. But we don't know if the prices are going to go up. We don't feel like they'll go down. They're going to hold steady because it's a seller's market. There's just not a lot of listings out there. And before the pandemic started, there wasn't a lot of listings this year. There wasn't a lot of listings last year. And that's what actually is driving the prices up. So just touching base on that again. There's Chuck again, so he can talk again.
No, like I said, we answered. I know people on Facebook jump in and out. Somebody might have just shared this or somebody came along it. So definitely watch the replay with all kind of good stuff. But also, right now it's mostly a seller's market if you're just joining us, and there are opportunities for buyers. And if we keep doing this, so one of the things I was going to say before, we'll have other things we talk about and do this again if it makes sense and helps people, or we get good feedback, or we get 7 more likes in the last 5 minutes. No, there's opportunity for liking the page.
My phone just died, so you're on your own.
Your phone just died. Okay, so, but if things shift, we will update people. We'll tell people how it is and what's happening. And I am getting a text. I'll have to check that later, though. I guess I said text me, but that's not going to work right now either, because then I look away from the screen.
Stop while you look at your text. I'm just kidding.
The market, like when we first entered this, I got on, answered a bunch of questions about COVID and what I thought would happen. Michelle might remember 2 of the things I said. I did say I think the market's not going to go down; it'll stay even. One of them, I've done a couple of videos on this, is because in the United States alone, 53% of people have at least 50% equity in their home. There's like 30-some% that own their home free and clear. Now that's different than Minnesota, different in your city. Each city is going to be a different pocket. And then several people bought homes 8 years ago for half the value they are now. That's why there's 50% equity for some people. And then even somebody who bought it 4 years ago might have $30,000 in equity. So they don't have to immediately, let go of their house like we talked about earlier with foreclosure. So most people are in a good equity position to, it's way different in 2008 where it seemed like everybody owed 100% on their house, or, 80% or 90%. It was way different because of when people bought. There's only recent buyers who had low down payments that don't have a lot of equity in their house. And those are maybe the most vulnerable for, like, well, if they lose their job and aren't getting unemployment and forget to call the lender and ask for deferment and crawl under a bed and hide for a while.
Call your lender.
Yeah, call your lender if you're having.
Ask them a question.
Call your lender if you're having problems financially because of COVID. You can get your payments deferred for most lenders, most situations, if you're not too far behind now. And there's other options that come out of all this. So because of that, the market's just not likely to drop. What I said in that video, though, is there's going to be people who are going to be buying this year, and now they got shifted to the fall or next year, depending on how long they're furloughed and maybe how things go. And there probably was a point where the market would dip a little bit somewhere down the line, but if it pushes people out a year or two, it's going to keep it even. I don't think we're going to see much or anything above normal appreciation, but that's why I also said I didn't think we'd see anything that dips 10% below the price, and it doesn't seem like in Minnesota that's happening at all. And then there's always segments of properties or pockets that could lose value if there's like a company that goes out of business in a small town and people like have to move and clear out their houses. Yeah, that could dip a pocket area, but yeah, we're just not seeing that yet. Not at all. So it's still a seller's market.
So we got like 2 minutes left. If there's any last questions, again, like this, comment, that helps us know if you want us to keep doing this weekly. Seems like there's a lot of people on here, so this must be a good time of night. Maybe the kids are in bed, or maybe, like I said,
your dog is whining. What does your dog want from you?
She wants to go outside, and my son's supposed to be watching her, but he gave up after an hour.
So I just realized looking at this, was I smiling right the whole time? I normally smile, and then it's like, not smiling. I wasn't doing anything grumpy. I was talking the whole time. No. That's funny. Right, I'm just joking. This is just my weird humor on this.
I know. Some people don't know us though, so they're like, "Who are these weirdos?"
No, they could be like, "Who are these cool people?" I have spent a lot of time in the sun, so just so you know, it's a very sunshiny, and I I totally color easy. I'm like half an hour in the sun. I'm like red faced, matching my shirt.
I've had time to get sun as well. So I don't see any last comments again. And Chuck will, like you said, our assistant will go through and see many comments and stuff and draw a couple of gift cards out for people. If you want to share this, like I said, Chuck said earlier, you can share it and that gets you into the drawing as well. And people can watch it over later. I'm not sure if anyone's going to watch it for an hour and 15 minutes, but
I don't know. Some of these people stuck on here pretty long. There must be nothing going on. And some people might want to see some people might want to see how one of these goes. So, I thank everybody for joining.
Next week, maybe there'll be 3 of us, and Stacy can be on here too.
We could have up to 6 people. So when we do this again,
we could add people as co-hosts. People were like jumping on. It was like add them as a co-host. That was kind of cool.
I could, but then I get, when it's the first time, I get a little bit like, oh, I need their email and I got to text it, and then I gotta think too much. So I could do that next time if people wanted to jump on. We could have like live guests. So instead of commenting, we could actually send you a link and you could pop online. We probably wouldn't do that, but we could. So if somebody famous is out there, we could definitely pop you on. Somebody could like, what's that where they wedding crasher? We could have like some famous person crash this, Michelle, and then we just pop them on. Live interview. Donald Trump comes in live.
That's so funny.
All right, so
all kind of views. Then we might as well just put our billboards up and be over with it.
Yeah, so thanks for watching. I think it went well enough comment-wise and enough watchers. We'll probably do something again. We'll plan it, and we'll have a theme for that. But the theme will probably be, we'll give away some gift cards if you ask some questions, so it'll be similar. But we'll talk about some different things other than what questions people ask. Well,
and it doesn't always have to be about real estate, too. Whatever you want to ask us, I guess.
Josh Norby wants to co-host next time.
I will have a comedian on. Josh can be the comedian, and everyone can watch a comic, and that'll be fun. So my dog wants to be on, obviously, because she's.
You can show your dog before we wrap up here. If you want it.
Roxy. No, she wants to go out the door. Come.
All right, we're going to end this broadcast again. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the questions. There's Roxy.
Want to be on TV? Oh, no, I don't know how to do this.
Oh my. Good. Choking here. All right, thanks everybody. Josh, we'll think about it. We might give you like a segment. Maybe a segment.
Josh segment, yes.
Josh segment. And just to be warned, I can ban people from the broadcast if I bring them on. So you have to we'll have to work through that.
Thanks for listening, watching. Thanks for commenting, everybody. Feel free to send us any questions you have, and of course, like and share. Yes, that helps us too.
You can do off-air comments are welcome if you're shy, if you want to reach out.
If you're watching on the replay, you can comment too.
Awesome. All right. Yes, comment on the replay as well. Thanks for watching and have a blessed evening. We'll talk again.
Bye.
Bye.